Hey guys. Now we're on to a little something different today. You know how where's one thing we gotta remember in our times? A TV show. I know we don't talk about TV shows that much, but one thing I could talk about that kind of counts as a TV show talk are movies based on TV shows. There are a lot of good ones out there. And I decided to rank it down, and since by the fact I haven't seen a lot, this list is going to be ranked a little differently. This is going to be a ranking of my favorite favorite movies based on shows that are either comedies or cartoons. So this is like a top 10 favorite movies based off a cartoon or a comedy series. It's just how I like to handle it. Okay, I'm also going to let you all know this is all my opinion. It's ranked upon which movie does the best for its show and everything. And so, hope you enjoy, because if you don't, it's not my problem. I don't care what you say.
Number 10 is Monty Python's And Now for Something Completely Different. Have you heard of this movie? The title of it doesn't sound like you've heard of it. And Now for Something Completely Different, that's literally the name of this movie, And Now for Something Completely Different, is the first film of all time based on Monty Python. Now, Monty Python's more made of a comedy group than an actual show, but the one film that is mostly based off the TV series is this film. Holy Grail, Life of Brian, and Meaning of Life are all mainly just based off of the characters from the show. This one is mostly actually based on the show. And yes, I'm sure a lot of you know this show, Monty Python's Flying Circus. It's funny, it's full of a bunch of funny sketches and stuff. And Now for Something Completely Different is a film that kind of takes some funny sketches from the show, as well as adding some new ones as well. It's kind of like the Looney Tunes movie that came out in 1981. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but it's not on this list, by the way, because it's not really a movie. It's just a compilation. But this actually does count as a movie. Not for something completely different. What's the name of this one? Does do a good job with its film. Is it actually does have a lot of pack of humor. And despite the fact that the movie is just a bunch of randomness, it's funny. That's really all that matters. It's funny. So there's that. Number 9 is Space Jam. Now this isn't the Looney Tunes movie I was talking about. It was another one from 1981. This is Space Jam. Now this is a Looney Tunes film. Not only is it Looney Tunes related though, it actually also stars Michael Jordan. Yeah, the Michael Jordan. It's a crossover with the Looney Tunes and Michael Jordan, which is pretty cool. It's fun, it's just seeing a story about Looney Tunes having to play basketball and they get Michael Jordan to help them out. Adds some pretty fun impact to the overall story. I think it's pretty creative. And I love how much they throw at us in this film. Like, there's some new elements, different type of animation, some new characters of an antagonist. And for those who are looking for something cool, go find, there's Lola Buddy in this movie. She is, I don't even know what to say. Now, one thing I do know about this movie that's great is that next year, hopefully, they actually have a sequel ready, Space Jam: A New Legacy, that should feature LeBron James. That's something that we've all actually been asking for ever since 1996. Literally, ever since then, we thought there would be a nice time for a sequel featuring LeBron James. And believe me, that's finally gonna happen. Well, hope it happens. I hope nothing bad goes wrong with it. Hopefully nothing happens that causes the movie to be delayed or canceled, because it'd be fun to see the Looney Tunes return on the big screen again. And Space Jam, yes, cool. Basketball, yay. Yeah, a lot of people own a lot of Space Jam merch. It's a really nice film. Number 8 is the Muppet Movie. Alright, now this is another one that most people could think is based on the characters rather than the actual series. Well, actually, this film is the one film that's based off the actual show. For those who have seen the Muppet Show, it's mainly just a live audience series of comedy sketches featuring the Muppets. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty funny. It has a lot of great humor thrown into it, a lot of great stuff. And so, of course, you gotta love what the Muppet Movie does. Is it a movie with sketches? Well, no. It's just a made-up story about how each Muppet men, how they joined the group for a show. I guess that's creative. Not really what I expected, but hey, it did lead to some fun stuff. It's of course hilarious, does have great music, and one thing the show had was a celebrity guest stars. Different celebrities appeared. So of course in this movie they have a wide variety of celebrities. I mean, where do we go? How many? They have a ton of celebrities appear in this movie. There's Richard Pryor, Don DeLuise, Charles Durning, Edgar Bergen, Mel Brooks, Steve Martin, Madeline Kane, Horace Weechman, like so many celebrities appear. Orson Welles appears in this movie. The amount of celebrities this film has is unbelievable, and the overall story of the movie just is honestly fun. I certainly recommend this movie to those who enjoy the Muppets, and especially to those who enjoy the actual Muppet Show, because this movie does pack a lot of fun. Number 7 is Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. There's another. Oh look, there's another movie with representations. Now, for those who remember the show Batman the Animated Series, we all love it. Okay, it's just Batman, all Batman animated. It's one of the greatest cartoons ever. Like, come on, you can't love it. You cannot not love it. So, of course, with the success of the show, they have to have a movie based on that one show. And here's this one, Mask of the Phantasm. I will admit, I kind of thought this movie could be a lot more. I mean, the overall show, each episode felt like it could be a movie. So, well, we have a huge movie, that seems like something. This movie tells a story that could have been illustrating one of the episodes, but we still have it. Story about Batman facing a new enemy, the Phantasm, as well as facing new heights with romance and stuff. I mean, it's kind of like a mystery film. Like, we don't know who the Phantasm really is. Trust me, the ending surprises us hard finding out who the Phantasm actually is. Oh, and Joker's in this movie too. I'm sorry, Joker in the animated series was really awesome. Mark Hamill's portrayal of Joker was great, so of course he had to be great in this film. And Batman himself is great. Kevin Conroy does a good job voicing Batman. So yes, Mask of the Phantasm is awesome. I mean, I guess a little problem would be I don't know really why we need an actual full movie since the entire series is kind of already a movie, but oh well. It's fun to bring animation to the big screen, especially when it comes to someone like Batman. Number 6 is SpongeBob Squarepants movies. I put Mask of the Phantasm out before the Squarepants movie. Call me crazy, I don't care. But yeah, I said Mask of the Phantasm is just another episode and stuff. It's just a reason. I still like it. But then there's this movie. This movie does feel a little more like a new ideal film. And yes, it's good. I mean, the show overall, SpongeBob, has actually become a huge hit. Like, children all over the world were watching this show 24/7, including myself. I watched this show a bunch when I was younger. Heck, I'm not even gonna lie, I kind of still do to this day. Then, of course, the success of the show has to lead to a film. And we got this movie. It's something that all children want to go see while adults just try their hardest to get through. Because, you know, adults are into their own adult stuff. They're busy watching Simpsons and Family Guy and whatnot. While we stuck here, sitting down, enjoying some SpongeBob. So, yeah, this movie is great. It's a story about SpongeBob going on a quest to save a crown from Neptune while facing new challenges, like literally entering the real-life world. I mean, we've seen SpongeBob in live-action form before in some episodes, but those were kind of just minor little touches. Now he's actually walking on the real land. It's crazy, we haven't seen that before. Oh, and this movie does feature some celebrity guest stars, both for voice acting and live-action appearance. This movie has the voices of Jeffrey Tambor, Alec Baldwin, Scarlett Johansson, and you're not going to believe this, they actually have David Hasselhoff appear in real form in this film. He even is himself in this movie. Now that's something that a lot of kids wouldn't see, and I guess it was made for adults can handle the film. I enjoyed this movie, I kind of still do. It's a great way and all. Will I watch it again? No. Why? Because I've seen this movie a crap ton of times. I mean, I could pretty much just tell the entire script from my own head. Go ahead, ask me to say the entire script in my head. I'll do it. I will do it. Number 5 is The Naked Gun from the Files of Police Squad. Alright, here's a film with a little touch. For those who do remember the TV series Police Squad, we all found it hilarious. It was a show meant about crime fighting. It was like spoofing a bunch of detective police films and shows. And this movie, of course, does that too. Yes, it's great. It's like a different type of story about him having a big detective against a criminal mind. It's the same kind of idea for the show, except it's a full-length movie. And it's a spoof as well, as there's just a bunch of great little jokes thrown in at us. I'm telling you, The Naked Gun, you may not feel me for this. I think it's funnier than the overall show Police Squad. I know Police Squad, the entire show is longer than this one movie, but this one movie just throws a lot of great humor at us. It's a spoof of, like I said, it's a spoof of other police detective movies and shows. So you gotta love it. Gotta love what it does, and it gives us something really unique. I mean, seriously though, looking at the poster and stuff, you could tell this movie's gonna be pretty hilarious. I mean, you see what he's standing on? I don't want you to guess what it is. The Naked Gun's a great movie. I think if you're a fan of comedy spoofs, you'll love this film. But if you're not the biggest fan of comedy spoofs, I don't know if I recommend it just to hear you beg about it, but I enjoyed this movie. Number 4 is The Addams Family. It's another small movie. The show, The Addams Family, from the 60s, was pretty enjoyable. It was a decent, ideal story. A story about a family who lives a life of being cruel, rude, evil, dark, edgy. So what does this movie offer? Well, pretty much the same thing. Except they actually do throw some stuff at us. Like, this entire movie is literally just the family being what they were in the show. Cruel, evil, used in real life form. Because the story is about Uncle Fester being put in with another family, as that causes him to have to stay in the house while the other family has to move out and actually live in the real world. Handling some really cool stuff, you know? I seriously love how this movie accomplishes it. The thing about this movie, though, is that none of the cast members from the show appear in this. But the cast members in the movie do a great job portraying. Some even do a better job. I find it fun seeing all these characters have their own character. Every person in this movie plays a special type of character, demonic and wise. This also led to a sequel, Addams Family Values. That movie was kind of more made for Thanksgiving type. I don't know really, but hey, it was still good, I guess. And then there was a directed DVD film no one knows about. Oh, and then in 2019, last year, they had me an animated Addams Family movie, which is okay, I guess. But this film takes the cake at being the most enjoyable for the overall series, especially to the TV show. Number 3 is 21 Jump Street. Alright, this is a somewhat idea. If you are capable of knowing, some people would not know what this was based off a show. Well, it is. There was a TV series around the 2000s of 21 Jump Street, a show about two young police officers who kind of have a young idea in their minds. Well, this movie has that too. The thing is, though, this actually tells a story about them going back to school, having to handle both mystery crime fighting and school. You may think that's not going to lead to some good humor, but surprisingly, this movie was a smash hit. It actually been considered one of the funniest films of the 2010s. Okay, that's saying a lot, knowing that some comedy movies of the 2010s weren't that well successful. But hey, 21 Jump Street is, and it was fun. I love what it did. I love what it did with itself. It took the idea from the show and gave it its own little gesture. You know, having as much humor as they can throw at us, making it as funny as it can be. It even led to a sequel, 22 Jump Street. And after 22 Jump Street, most people have been asking when there will be a 23 Jump Street. Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum have been talking about that could happen, but we still don't know if it actually will happen. We're just going to have to wait. If it won't, let's enjoy the first two movies and what they did with the original show. But if there is a 23 Jump Street, hopefully that film is just as funny as this one. Number 2 is South Park. Bigger, longer, and uncut. Now this is one of those movies that a lot of children saw trailers of, and the movie title said, "This movie is for adults, not for kids." Trust me, that did not stop kids from wanting to see this movie. It was kind of the same with the show. The original show, South Park, was a show that parents didn't want their kids watching, but the kids decided to sneak and watch it without their parents knowing. And they did that. So when they heard there was a movie coming out, they definitely were getting ready to watch this hilarious film. So what they did was they went to the movie theaters, they bought a ticket to go see the movie Tarzan, and their parents and the ticket booth lady trusted him to actually go to that theater and not another one, and you instantly decided to go to the theater next to that one and see this movie. But you know what? It's not really that bad. Granted, yes, okay, there is a lot of swearing in it, a lot of it. But you know what? If the swearing all just put in randomly, if there was no major swearing in this movie, this film probably would have gotten a PG-13 rating. For God's sake, this movie is a musical. I mean, look at that poster. You may think this is a musical. It is. There's 11 songs sung in this movie, and only two or three of them are really bad and inappropriate. The rest kind of just reflect on something else. And there are even some that are little spoofs of Disney songs. Yeah, that's what they did for this film. But hey, this movie's story is okay. A story about Canada being put into war, which also gets the help of a devil and his partner Saddam Hussein in huge crust and stuff. I mean, God, this movie must be huge. It was a huge hit. In fact, it's actually the second highest grossing R-rated animated film of all time. The first being Sausage Party. Okay, I know, a lot of children definitely saw this movie without their parents knowing, but once their parents finally did find out that their kids saw this movie, they were in a lot of trouble. Believe me, the entire movie actually does kind of follow that story of these kids sneaking into a film. That's pretty ironic, don't you think? And number one, surprisingly I guess, is the Blues Brothers and Wayne's World. I know ties aren't really that necessary, but these two movies are based on the same show, so I'll give them a pass. They're both based off of some famous sketches from Saturday Night Live, and they're definitely worth it. Let's first talk about the Blues Brothers. The Blues Brothers is a story about two brothers who just escaped from prison to go sing songs, and have a huge band. That's what it was like in this show, along with some humor, of course. In the movie, it's a story about these two escaping from prison, having to go on a quest to form the band back together so they can raise money to fund a hospital donation thing. I forgot exactly how it's said, but they do this, and while this is going on, police are trying to look for these two. Yeah, it's all just a huge mystery film. It leads to some really great comedy. And, some great music, of course, too. A lot of the songs in this movie are classic and fun to listen to. And boy, John Belushi is known for that. He's dead. He died 2 years after this movie was released. Rest in peace, John. Rest in peace. It was funny and enjoyable. Now let's talk about Wayne's World, which is also funny and enjoyable. This is on the sketch from SNL about these two who talk about random stuff in a basement, as well as have special people come down and talk to themselves. Mostly known for their guitar enjoyment and drum. In the movie, it's kind of like that, except it actually does tell a decent, ideal story. A story about these two getting permission to have their show become even bigger and have them actually be in a real studio and do more to raise more money for this guy. You mostly have to follow the story, but you can also follow the comedy as well, because this movie is super hilarious. I'm telling you, a lot of the humor they have in this movie is just put in really well. I mean, like, come on, it's mostly fourth wall breaking and character development, and it's all so much fun. I recommend this movie for those who like a good comedy film, or of course really enjoy the sketches on Saturday Night Live. Believe me, Wayne's World and the Blues Brothers are both really funny, really creative, and definitely reflect on what they were based on, which, in my opinion, is what makes them the greatest movies based off of a comedy show or cartoon of all time. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching. I see you in the next video. Don't know when that is. I don't even know how long I'm going to survive. I might even not be alive enough for the next video, so better keep paying attention to my channel. You better keep these subscribers up, because you never know. I might die tomorrow. I might die right after I might die right now. I never know when I'm gonna